גם אחרי שהלכתי לך זה לא שינה, ומיד כשחזרתי הייתה לך הרגשה שאני עוד אוהב אותך, שאני כבר שלך, ואהבת ושמחת וחשבת שרציתי להיות שם תמיד בשבילך, כי ידעתי שככה זה טוב, שלשניים יהיה יותר פשוט לאהוב, כל הדרך אני לצידך. גם אני עוד שומע וגם אני לא יודע איך עושים את זה, איך שזה לא קל לאהוב ללא תנאי. והופתענו כשבא השינוי הגדול, והבטחנו תמיד לדבר, וראינו אחרי שבועות וימים שלא קל לעמוד מול הרגל. גם אני עוד שומע וגם אני לא יודע איך עושים את זה, איך שזה לא קל לאהוב ללא תנאי. שזה לא קל לאהוב.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's good to see you. Hi, Nettie. Hi, Joey. Hi, Ken. Hi, Esther. Hi, Gabriel and Zach. I hope Miriam is there. Rabbi Miriam is there. So, good Shabbos for all the faces that are starting to pop up in Zoom, as well as we acknowledge those that are joining us in YouTube and Facebook. We're on page 636. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's good to see you. We are starting this Shabbat of Parashat Vayikael Pekudei. And it's difficult to ignore the name of our Torah portion, the word Vayikael, that shares its source, its shoresh, with the word Keilah, community. In the perspective of a year of the pandemic, a year of trying to learn or redefine what is essential to us, what is essential in our lives. I remember that when we started the pandemic, we would talk about this feeling that all days felt and looked alike. But there was Shabbat, and Shabbat is different. And this idea of Ahad Ha'am, that it's not so much that the Jewish people kept Shabbat alive, but it is rather Shabbat that kept the Jewish people alive. I think of our possibility to gather in Shabbat, in person or virtually, and the power of community, the power of knowing that we are not alone, even in difficult times, even in times that sometimes feel a bit scary, that we are community, that we are Keilah, that we are Keilah Kedusha, we are a sacred community. I would like to invite you to turn your Sidurim to page 120 in order to light Shabbos candles. I would like to invite Rabbi Miriam Van Rolt to lead us in lighting Shabbos candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Hey Tony. And as we enter this Shabbat with the light of Shabbat, I invite you to prepare a Kiddush cup as we enter this Shabbat in community together, and we turn our Sidurim to page 130 for Lechu Nena Nena.
Lechu Nera Nena L'Adonai Nariya Letzur Ishenu Nekadma בתודה בזמירות נריע לו נקדמה פניו בתודה בזמירות נריע לו שירו לאדוני שיר חדש שירו לאדוני כל הארץ שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו ספרו בגויים כבוד
וישמחו הים רבים עם רבים, אור שרו על הצדיק ולשלב שמחה. שמחו צדיקים לאדוני, באדוני, בהודו לשכל קודשו. שיר לאדוני שיר חדש כי נפלאות עשה. We turn our סיורים to page 134 as we ask to find the sounds, the words, the attention, the focus that help us enter this Shabbat. I'd like to invite you to take a moment to set an intention for your Shabbat. Something that you need to focus on. Something related to your neshama, to your soul, that might have been procrastinated the entire week, and now should be placed in the center of your attention. Just one moment. Find your word, find your idea. Try to visualize it. Take a deep breath. And enter Shabbat. We're on page 134.
זמרו לאדוני בכינור, בכינור וקול זמרה, בחצוצרות וקול שופר. הריעו לפני המלך אדוני, ירם הים ומנור, תבל ויושביה, הידי נהרות עמך כף יחד הרים ירננו, לפני אדוני כי בא לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, ועמים ומישרים. ירם הים ומנור, תבל ויושביה, הידי נהרות עמך כף יחד הרים ירננו, כף יחד הרים ירננו.
We're on page 136 for Psalm 29. מזמור לדוד, אבו לאדוני ונהלים, אבו לאדוני כבוד בעוז, אבו לאדוני כבוד שמו, השתחוו לאדוני בהדרת קודש. כל אדוני על מים, אל על כבוד עינים, על מים אדוני, על מים רבים. כל אדוני בכוח, כל אדוני בהדר, כל אדוני שובר ארצים. ישבר אדוני את דרסי הלבנון וירכיבם ללבנון בציון כמו בן רמים כל אדוני שוב לעבוד אש כל אדוני יקים מדבר עם אדוני מדבר קדש כל אדוני יכול לעלות ויחשוף יערות ובהיכלו כולו מרכבות כולו אומר כבוד לאדוני למבול ישב וישב אדוני מלך לעולם אדוני עוש לעמו ייתן אדוני יברך את עמו את עמיו בשלום את עמו את עמיו בשלום. Beloved, let's come to welcome the bride. Let's come to welcome Shabbat. We are on page 130.
לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם לתפארת ולתהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונחכי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוך סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה התעוררי התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי 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 שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה
איי 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 לך דודי איי 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 לקראת כלה איי 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 שבת בני שבת בני שבת נקבלה לא תבושי ולא תקלמי מה תשתוכחי ומה תהני בך יחסו אני הימי ונבנתה עיר על פילה איי 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 לך דודי איי 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 לקראת כלה איי בני שבת בני שבת בני שבת נקבלה והיולים שיסה שעושייך ותחכו כל מבלייך יסיס עלייך אלוהייך עם סוס חתן הכלה איי 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 לך דודי איי 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 לקראת כלה איי בני שבת בני שבת בני שבת נקבלה ימין ושמאל תפרוצי באדוני תעריצי שלום עטרת מלא גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני Shabbat Mekabela. We have welcome Shabbat, and it is time to welcome each other and to say good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom to each other. So we invite you to say Shabbat Shalom in the comments on Facebook and YouTube. You can wave if you're in Zoom, and so we can see you. And we also, particularly if you are in Zoom and not in Zoom, in Facebook or YouTube, there's so much social media that it's hard to follow. If you are in YouTube or in Facebook, we encourage you to leave a good Shabbos comment so we know you were here and you can tell us where you are connecting from. As we turn our Siurim to page 144, one more psalm, one more attempt, one more opportunity to make sure that Shabbat lead us into the transformation that we need so much, that we take the opportunity to allow Shabbat to lead us into this palace in time. We turn now our Sidurim to page 144 for Hetzi Kaddish. יתגדל בהתקדש מרבה, בלמד דברי חילותי בימליך מלכותי, בחייכם וביומכם ובחיי כל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו, יש מרבה מבורך לעולם ולעול בעלמיה, יתברך וישתבח, מתפאר בתרומם בהתנשא, בהתהדר, בהתהלל, בהתהלל, שמת הקודשה. לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמידם בעלמה, ואמרו אמן. So before we enter into Arbit Shel Shabbat, we didn't think that doing a festival of a year of the pandemic was the best idea for Shabbat, but rather to allow Shabbat to keep doing what it does, and to guide us into finding meaning in time, holiness in time, even in very difficult times. Nonetheless, we have been for a year in this pandemic. I still remember the first Shabbat that we did without Keilah in person from TBT, and how different it was, how difficult it felt for us being in the synagogue alone, and for you being at home. And we have learned several things. We have learned about pain during this year, and we also have learned a few things about resilience, about community, about joy, and about time. So a beloved colleague posted a wonderful poem called Instructions on Not Giving Up, written by Ada Limon, or Limon. And we thought about sharing this before entering into Ma'ariv.
More than the fuchsia funnels breaking out of the crabapple tree, more than the neighbors' almost obscene display of cherry limbs shoving their cotton candy-colored blossoms to the slate sky of spring rains. It's the greening of the trees that really gets to me. When all the shock of white and taffy, the world's baubles and trinkets, leave the pavement strewn with confetti of aftermath, the leaves come. Patient, plodding, a green skin growing over whatever winter did to us, a return to the strange idea of continuous living despite the mess of us, the hurt, the empty. Fine then, I'll take it, the trees seem to say. A new slick leaf unfurling like a fist to an open palm. I'll take it all.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר ברית ברור מרים ורבים בחוכמה פותח שערים ובתבונה משנה עדים. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time, and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness, and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzebaot is your name. Living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai. Amari Barabim. Avat Olam, you have loved us. You love us with an everlasting love. I invite you to take a moment to think about what makes you feel supported. What gives you strength in times of difficulty? We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on your mitzvot. For they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Help us find meaning in our days. Dear God, never remove your love from us. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Israel. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please join me on page 154 for Ve'ahavta. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אמן.
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת, אמת באמון הכל סוד וקיים עלינו, כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו, בן זולתו, ואנחנו ישראל עמו. הפודינו מיד When your children witness your presence, they praise your name in gratitude and they accepted your sovereignty. Moshe, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices with joy. Who is like you, O God? Mi Hamocha, Bailim Adonai. We're on page 158.
שבקודש נורא תהילות עושה מלכותך ראו בניך בוקר הים לפני משה ומרים זה ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Blessed are you, Adonai, Redeemer of Israel. Baruch atah Adonai Goel Israel. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, ועמידנו שומרנו לחיים, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. Shelter us with the sukkah of your peace. We are on page 160.
ושמור צאתנו ומורנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלום
we turn our Sidurim to page 164. As we enter Tfilat Amidah, we invite you to follow the words of our tradition between pages 164 and 180, or alternatively to try to find your Tfilah Shebalev, the prayer of your heart, to find the words that you shall say. Adonai sfatai tiftach, ufi yagid, ufi yagid, tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. אתה כמו לעולם הרי מחיים בטבעת המון רבי יושי מה שבאנו לחמוד אתה קדוש אתה יש לא, מותנו ורצבנו חתנו קדשנו מצוותיך ותקנו מתורתך. זהבנו מטובך וזכינו בישועתך ודל לבנו לעבדיך במחד. במקרנו אדוני אלוהינו, באהבה וברצון שבת קודשך והניחו בה ישראל. שלום רב על ישראל ממך, תשימו לב. We are at the bottom of page 180. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי בגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי Adonai tzori ve'gohali. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you. Adonai, my rock and my redeemer, עושה שלום במרומיו, ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. May the one who makes peace in the high heavens make peace for us here and all who inhabit the earth, and let us say amen. We now take a moment to acknowledge those dealing with illness. We think of those dealing with illness in their bodies. We think of those dealing with illness in their spirits. Of course, in this pandemic year, we think of first responders. We think of those risking their health and their lives in order to keep our society functioning, and we think of those dealing with COVID. We also think of those dealing with addictions as we pray for their fast and the complete recovery on page 371, Mishebrach.
past the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu kol habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We wish to all of them רפואה שלמה, בהחלמה מהירה, a complete and a fast recovery. And as soon as we finish, I finished saying my intention before Misheberach, I realized that sometimes a complete recovery is not an option. And I think that we need to add that we wished to them well-being. So we wish to them and to all of us also well-being. And for those that are possible, a complete recovery is a possibility, a complete recovery. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So I am developing I think a little paranoia with the microphone and how that works for the Divrei Torah. So before I get into the Bar Torah and then in the middle I get a message like, we are hearing a distortion coming from your microphone. Let's make sure that this is working right now. Can you hear me well? Good. On original sound. Okay, now is it better? Is it even better now, Zach? No. Okay, I have divided opinions. Look at this. Now we have I see 50% of the people doing this and and the other 50% doing this. Zach, we are in trouble. So we are going to keep the what? No, we are going to keep it this way. Can you hear more volume? Miriam says more volume. Okay, I think I know how to do this. Wait a second. Is it better now? I blew up some ears there. Now can you hear me well? Okay, I'm glad we had this conversation. I am happy. I'm grateful that in our community we can have these kind of conversations. So, over the last couple of days, I have been wondering if we can grow wings. I am aware that starting in 1998, when I Believe I Can Fly became such a big hit, and because we have been singing it since, it might sound like a more reasonable idea, and so I Google it. Can I grow wings? And you can imagine the wide spectrum of weird answers that I found. Now, the reason I was wondering about wings is that in this Torah portion, Parashat Vaikael Pkudei, we are instructed to build the Ark of the Covenant, which will be located in the Mishkan, in the tabernacle. One of the instructions is to finally place the cherubim, and we are told that God will be communicating with us from between the cherubim. The cherubim of the ark are statues of angel-like figures that have their wings extended. And in Jewish tradition, wings are commonly associated with the idea of a sheltering embrace. However, a few chapters earlier, we heard about wings in sensing in a context that seems to be completely unrelated, but might actually be the other side of the same coin. Earlier in the book of Exodus, in chapter 19, we read, "אתם ראיתם אשר עשיתי למצרים, ואשא אתכם על כנפי נשרים, ואבא אתכם אליי." You have seen what I did to the Egyptians, how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to me. This verse serves as a symbolic recollection of what happened in the Exodus, and is the headline for the ketuvah, the contract that will be presented to Am Israel, to the Jewish people, and will establish the covenant between the people of Israel and God. In Exodus 19:4-6, we read, "You have seen what I did to the Egyptians, how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to me. Now, if you will obey me faithfully and keep my covenant, you shall be special to me among all the peoples. You will be to me a kingdom of priests, and a holy nation you shall be to me." Entering the covenant is the liminal stage in which Israel transitioned from being in the narrowest, the lowest, the most difficult place in the world, into the redemptive status of perceiving ourselves as cared for, supported, and beloved. God describes this transition as being lifted and carried on eagle's wings. And now, here we are, back in Parashat Vaikael, standing in front of the Ark of the Covenant, and on top of the Ark, the majestic wings of the cherubim. These wings remind us that at some point we needed to be carried. We needed to be lifted. But at that time, we were like an empty container. The impossible circumstances of Egypt prevented us from having a positive perception of ourselves. And we didn't have Torah. We did not carry the simiente, the seeds of what later became our center, our center and the foundation of our values. But there is more to these wings. In very difficult moments, and you name what that means for you. Our political situation, an entire year of pandemic, a family crisis, the loss of a beloved one, or whatever narrow place we find ourselves in. The wings on top remind us that our values are not confined in an ark, and they are rather the foundation of our ability to elevate ourselves. Even in moments in which we struggle to find what we need, and we rather feel overwhelmed or drained, or the two of them at the same time. The ark reminds us that we are containers, we are vessels, we are holy containers. And as soon as we start to look inside with faith and hope, we start to spread our wings. Having these wings challenges us to trade being uplifted by lifting up. They remind us of the sweetness of being carried and sheltered, and at the same time, they dare us to carry on, to be a shelter, and to offer shelter. They tell us that no matter what story we have been telling ourselves, we are loved, we are cared for. They tell us that we have wings. And so, we can elevate ourselves. And yes, we can fly. Rabbi Cook once wrote, "If you desire to, human being, look at the light of God's presence. Gaze at the wonders of the creation, at their divine life. Know the reality in which you live. Know yourself and your world. Ascend. Ascend because you have the strength to do so. You have wings of spirit, wings of powerful eagles. Do not deny them, or they will deny you. Seek them, and you will find them in a flash." Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We will continue our service on page 586. ונאמר אלי אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. We will now take a moment to acknowledge mourners among our community. We invite you to share the names of your beloved ones, those that you are remembering today, and to please rise if you are during the first 7 days of mourning, Shiva, if you are during the first 30 days of mourning, Shloshim. if you are during the cycle of the first year of mourning. And so, if you have a yahrzeit this week, if you are remembering the passing of a beloved one by this time of the year in years past. Now you can support our fellows by standing or sitting, joining us with your voices and your hearts. For Mourners Kaddish on page 598. התגדל בהתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמה דברה חירותה, בימליך מלכותה, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, באמרו אמן. יאה שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולמי עלמיה, יתברך, משתבח, בהתפאר, בהתרומם בהתנשא, בהתהדר, בהתעלה, בהתעלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירם בעלמה, באמרו אמן. יאש למרבה מן שמיה, בחיים טובים עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, באמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, באמרו אמן. May the memories of your beloved ones be always a blessing in your life. יהיה זכרם ברוך. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So, a few quick announcements. So tomorrow, Emily Simon will be coming up to the Torah. So we are thrilled to celebrate her bat mitzvah in Shacharit of Shabbos with her family. We will be streaming from our I don't know, how we call that area?
Patio thing?
Patio. Patio is a great word for that. Thank you for. Well, I was thinking about the Shoah monument that we have there, which is beautiful, and I think that that's one of the components of that outdoor space. But patio is more of a comprehensive word. Thank you for your contribution, Gabriel. So we will be streaming services from the patio, and we are excited to do so, and we are starting to plan how we will be doing here and there some services and outdoors, mask on, social distance, RSVP. Lots of things will need to be taken care of, but we're thinking of how to. Soon we will be communicating, and for those that cannot be participating with us outdoors, we are going to keep streaming the way we do right now, and hopefully even better as time goes on. So we are not giving up on any of you. We want all of you to be able to connect with us and to be with us. We appreciate your presence. We love your presence. So we'll make every possible effort to keep our community as inclusive as always. With that said, I need to share something else. On March 26th, we will have first, on March 24, Wednesday, we have our mitzvah matzah. And if you want to get a box of matzah from TVT, please sign up and come to pick it up from the shul at 6 p.m., between 6 and 7 p.m. on the 24th. In addition, that day, we will have a Find the Afikoman scavenger hunt around the city of Fullerton. Yes, for children, but also for whoever wants to participate. So if you want to find the Afikoman and you feel young in your spirit and you want to drive around Fullerton, Mark, that was your idea. So we are doing it. So we will be running this scavenger hunt. And on the 26th, Friday 26th, just 2 days before Passover, we will be doing a family service based on Songs of Freedom. We put a beautiful name for that, and I can't remember how we call it. It's something like Songs of Freedom Shabbat. And hopefully I'm not too far from the title we gave to that, but we will be singing Songs of Freedom in Shabbos. It will be a slightly different Shabbos, but it will be wonderful. So we encourage you to join us then. And then on the 28th, Sunday night, we will be celebrating our second night Seder together in community virtually, as we did last year. And here is Judy, who pushed us last year into doing the second night Seder. I remember calling Judy and said, like, you serious about this? Like, are you going to help? And she said, I will help. And she did help. And you need to be careful, Judy, we will ask you again. And last year, that was one of the first things we did. And we were so clueless that we didn't even know how to use Zoom. And and it worked, and it was wonderful. And we were a bit scared, but it was such a wonderful experience. So we are going for bigger and better this year. And we are grateful for also the good experiences that we had over the last year. With all that said, let's do Kiddush. I invite you to please turn your Sidurim to page. Oh, I love seeing your Kiddush cups. It's so nice. So nice. I saw a few Kiddush cups moving there, and it's so exciting. Kachenu b'mitzvotecha v'ten chelkeinu v'toratecha sarenu mituvecha v'ten chelkeinu v'shuatecha yairai yairai Betaher liveinu, betaher liveinu, betaher liveinu le'avdecha be'emet, betaher liveinu, betaher liveinu, betaher liveinu le'avdecha be'emet, rai, yaralai, 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 be'anchileinu Adonai Eloheinu ba'u beratzon, Shabbat kodshecha, Shabbat kodshecha, yarai, 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 Yai da 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 da, yai da 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 da, yai da 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 da. בערב ויבוקר יום השישי. ויחול השמיים בארץ בכל צבאם, ויכל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו כי הוא שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. סברי חבריי וחברותיי, you can say לחיים.
חיים.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפם. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ברצבנו בשבת קודשו באו ברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים קריבנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת עם כל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים. Oh my gosh. And it's interesting that I just did Kiddush, but most of the time at home, Noga is the one who makes Kiddush, who does Kiddush. So, in the middle of the Kiddush, it felt interesting to me to do Kiddush next to you. She's usually the one. And the reason I'm sharing that is because sometimes we think that there are female roles and male roles in our tradition, and they are to be occupied by one of, and that's just incorrect. And if it's correct and right in some people's minds, we have the ability, the opportunity, and sometimes even the obligation to show that things can be done differently. We take one more moment to share one more blessing in this Shabbat. We think of those who love us. We think of those who we love. As we share the millennia-old words of blessing of our tradition, we think of our boys, and we say, Yasimechem, Yasimchem, Elohim, Kefraim, Bekemenashe. May God inspire you to be like the fathers of Israel. We think of our girls and we say, Yasimchen, Elohim, Kesara, Rivka, Rachel, Belea. May God inspire you to be like the mothers of Israel. As we think of all of us. May God bless you and protect you. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. May you find God's presence within you always, and may God bless you with peace. May we find the courage and the strength to spread our wings. And in moments that we feel very low, may we realize that we have wings and that we can elevate ourselves. Adonai os le'amo iten, Adonai yevarech et amo b'shalom. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom. In Zoom you can wave. Good Shabbos to everyone. And to ready for you. Shabbos, everyone.